Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to virtual Lambtown. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for making such a successful event. That
Our
you
pleasure.
you did a lot to put this together, and I'm really impressed with what you did so quickly. Very impressive. It's a lot.
It's been quite the learning opportunity.
I bet.
Yes,
As COVID has created for all of us, right? We
that's
need
right.
if we're nothing if not flexible at this point.
That exactly something like that. Whether we want to be or not, right?
Exactly. Yes, true. Forced into
Uh,
flexibility.
right. Forced flexibility. It's a skill
Yeah,
that 2020 is teaching us. Yes. Well, welcome, and why don't you tell everybody how, like, all the things that you do, because you do quite a few things, and how you got started.
sure. Well, again, thank you for having me. Thank you for everyone who is out there watching at the end of this lovely Lambtown weekend and this successful weekend. My name's Sarah Kaiser. I have Wild Oat Hollow is my farm. I also have Dandelion Skincare line. I do create a line of skincare that is all climate beneficial. It's all made from local farms, including my own. There's a lot of goat milk incorporated into it. There's a local herbalist near me that makes her own hydrosols that go into the creams, and we use goat ghee as the butter. And they're all very delightful, very wonderful skincare products that are all made from local ingredients, either from my farm or from other local farms near me. And we also try to glean as much stuff as we can by going around and picking up things that farmers would have to throw away and making them into skincare products, which is a really nice way to do it. I also have twirl yarn. I'm sorry, twirl yarn is Mary, not me. I have twinkle
Yes.
fiber, which I do lots of different fiber. I have yarn, sheepskins, a lot of raw fleeces. And that's another thing I have right now because of no active Lambtown or Boonville. We have lots of raw fleeces. If there's hand spinners out there, please let me know because we've got a lot of really delightful fleeces. We can go into that. And I also operate a community grazing cooperative in which I take my sheep out to all my neighbors who need services in reducing their fire load. And the sheep go all around the neighborhood. The neighbors come out, we walk them down the streets, we take them everywhere. I use primarily portable electric fencing, move them around. I have had to grow my guard dog load because we have a pretty active mountain lion that's been doing some heavy devastation in my neighborhood. Which just means we get to have more dogs.
Yeah.
But we lost 3 sheep to the mountain lion, one with the dog out there. Luckily the dog survived. So that's just one of the things that's part of raising sheep, raising livestock, especially in the West where we have a lot of, natural predator load. And so, we have sheep, dairy goats, chickens, and we kind of incorporate them all into all of our different products. And also we have a carbon farm plan. So we are actively sequestering massive amounts of carbon out of the atmosphere into our soil, and our sheep and goats are doing amazing things to build soil, sequester carbon, bring back bunching grasses, doing all these amazing things out there, eating grass and growing fleece and producing milk. So they do everything for us.
And it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's well, I mean, I admit to having a full life, and I just listening to the list of things that you just, told us about, it sort of is mind blowing. But I know that they also all work hand in hand and support each other. So I would imagine that helps balance out some of the amazing things that you do. And it's sort of like mind blowing to think about just all the different facets of what you're doing. One of the things, just going back, because I think it is really important for us to talk about the fact that since we're not seeing you in person, the opportunities to buy raw fleece is, a little bit more limited. Can you tell us some of the breeds that you have that if people might be interested in?
Sure. I have a flock of mostly registered Romney. I have a few unregistered, but they're all full Romney. So I have a flock of full Romney. I have a lot of those raw fleeces. And for those who've worked with Romney, it's a delightful fleece to work with. It's great, especially for the new hand spinner. It almost spins itself. And then I have a mixed flock of my fine fiber flocks, which to go into those breeds can be quite expansive. I do have a couple of full Merinos, 100% pure Merinos. I have a couple that are mostly 100% BFL and a 100% Wensleydale. And then I have some sheep that I brought in from Peggy Agnew, which I think might have been a vendor as well. She usually is. And hers are kind of a cross between the long wool and the fine wool. So her sheep, a couple of them that I have from her are a cross between a Cormo, Wensleydale, Lincoln, and Merino. And these fleeces,
they're amazing. I can attest. So
they're amazing. Yeah. So this cross, you get that really fineness, but a little more length, a little bit kind of less density, a little easier to handle. They're really delightful. And I've taken some of those and crossed them to a BFL, which is Blue-Faced Leicester Ram. And those babies are divine. And then I brought in a Merino Ram to cross to them. So I keep kind of adding a little bit more. But what happens to these fleeces is, I guess because I'm not as interested in getting consistent fleece, it's almost like an artist's palette to kind of mix breed, but you get really amazing fleeces. And I also find with a little bit of crossbreeding, especially in the fine fiber sheep, you get more vitality in your sheep, because my Romney are the toughest, smartest, savviest sheep on earth. You trim their hooves once a year, you shear them once a year. That's all they ever need. But the other ones are just a little more delicate. Their feet need a little more care. Sometimes they need more calories. The Romneys do not need a whole lot of additional feed. In the summer, everybody gets a little bit of hay, of course, but Romney I've never had a Romney need lambing help. And some of my fine fiber need a little more assistance. So they tend to be closer to my home. The Romney go out and graze farther away because I just trust their durability a little bit more. So the crosses are a little bit more high maintenance, but the fine fiber are a little bit more work, but not a lot. And when I cross them, I increase my robustness and I get kind of really diversity in my fleeces, which make them really kind of fun to show, usually at Lambtown. But also it really makes fun yarn because I'm crossing these different mixes and the yarns turn out fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah. And it's sort of like, there's like when you're designing a yarn, sometimes you say, oh, okay, I'm gonna add some silk in with this wool because I want that drape or I want that luster. But you're doing it one step earlier by crossbreeding those longer. Because you're getting that fineness from the fine wools, but you're also getting that luster and that drape from those longer wools. And so it's like this, I don't know, they're gorgeous. Each one, as you say, each one is unique. And has a lot of personality in terms of the wool, though I'm sure the sheep do too. And so if anybody who's out there that's a hand spinner, I highly recommend checking out all of your fleeces, but I do find those crosses particularly interesting because they're so unique. And they work up really well. And as you said, they're just a little bit more approachable. I think, if you want that fineness, but you want to be able to maybe process it yourself, or you can send it off to one of our, amazing vendors that are mills that can do the processing. So it's just it's an incredible opportunity that you're providing to us, as hand spinners. Yeah. I
really like your word approachable, because I think that's what it is. Like the mixing, those fleeces are so much more manageable, especially if you haven't been spinning a long time. But even if you've been spinning a long time and want to process them yourself, a full 100% merino, you've got to be really careful with. Where when you cross them a little bit, it has a little bit more robustness that you don't have so much caution. But and we have fleeces at both Valley Oak Wool Mill and at Mendocino Wool Mill. They're both making yarn for us.
Oh, great.
So
that's exciting.
So we do send some fleeces out, but I still have quite a few left for processing. For hand spinners.
And I've had great success also with Sherry at Morro Bay with those cross. She's a third
wonderful.
option.
Yep. And I know Peggy sends a lot of her fleeces there, and she does great job. She does a great job with our fine fleeces.
Yeah. And Raquel was saying that she can take, if people want yarn from them, she can take the roving or the sliver that Sherry does and then spin it. So that allows you, if anybody's out there that wants to have custom made yarn.
Totally. If you want custom made yarn. And I know I love Markel, and we were actually going to share a booth, so we miss seeing each other. But she takes a lot of stuff from there and spins it into yarn, and it works. It handles really nicely for her, and she's made some really delightful. I've kind of pushed Markel. Hopefully she's watching, but there's times she's like, I'm just not sure I can do this. I'm like, you're going to do it. It's going to turn out great, and she does a beautiful job. So
that's great.
you know,
great.
it's fun. She's great. Yeah. And so Yukaya's done, the Mendocino wool mill has done quite a few things for me as well. And they're spinning out and they're doing a great job. It's so wonderful to have so many local mills. What a delightful,
amazing.
How blessed we are to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. It's amazing. We are really lucky. And I'm so glad that finally sort of worked out for Sarah and Matt. You know, it was a long road to get to where they are. So I'm thrilled that they finally sort of got it all together.
Yes.
So Judy was asking, how can they see the fleeces? Because there's one listed on the website. So do they just send you an email? What's the best way to handle that?
I'm going to try to see. So when I talk about all the things I do, one of the things I don't do very well is update all of these things on your website. And I get really frustrated. I'm going to put them onto the website. You can email me if you want to inquire about any fleeces, or if I don't have them up, please feel free to email me. What I am frustrated about is I feel like I need to get like a professional photographer in, because the pictures never are a good example of the fleeces. So I'm always, I do have Ravens up there, and I was going to show a little bit of her fiber. She's divine. She's got this jet black, high luster, amazing locks. They're so soft. They're just stunning. And her mom was a Wensleydale and her dad was Cormo Lincoln cross. And so she's got longer locks, not real tight like a Merino, but really, really fine. And that really high Wensleydale luster, like it just glows. When you shear her, she just glows. And so I put her up there. Feel free to email me. If I don't have it up, but I'm going to try to get them up on the website the next day or two. But the other thing, I'm in Pengrove. I don't know how far I can ship them to you. But depending upon how close people are, Pengrove is right next to Petaluma, kind of between Petaluma and Santa Rosa in Sonoma County. If you're up for a drive, you're welcome to come pick it up. If you're healthy and want to wear a mask, you can even come out and pet some of the sheep. So we can even go masked and stand 6 to 10 feet apart, and you can pet a sheep. I'm okay with that outside. And we have some really sweet sheep that like to be hugged. So if you need a little, sheep love, you can get that and pick up your fleece in person and avoid the shipping costs. Otherwise, I'm happy to ship fleeces, and I do that often as well.
That's great.
But yeah, I'll try to get them all up, because I have quite a few out there ready to be. And then we shear again in January, so we'll even have a whole new load. They just keep on producing that wool, those lovely sheep.
It's amazing. It comes again.
It comes again. And my Romney will produce 20 to 25 pounds a year. Easy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And just to circle back, because I don't want to shortchange Romney, actually. As you said, that is a fabulous, if you're a newer spinner, and if you, especially if you want to process yourself, Romney is a fabulous place to start. I mean, that really is a great starting place. And, it's not necessarily soft enough for everybody to wear next to the skin, but it certainly is something that, depending on how you process it and then spin it, is you can wear comfortably as a layer. You might need a thin layer in between for some people, but not everybody. I mean, I highly recommend it as a fiber.
Some of my Romneys are definitely on the finer side for the Romney spectrum.
Yeah.
So I have some that definitely people could spin out and put in a sweater and be quite comfortable in. It's really easy to hand process. It's very forgiving, just like the sheep are. And it's really tough and durable. So if you had a sweater or a hat and it's just getting beat up, the Romney is going to withstand any sort of abuse that you put on it. Socks, it'd be great socks material. Yeah. So even though they're not as fine, like you said, as the finer breeds, it's a great kind of outerwear, hat, sweater kind of thing. With a layer underneath, and it'll just take whatever abuse you want to give it. It's very strong fiber.
Yeah, it's to me, it's like, if you wanted to make that sweater that you could, do your chores in, and have it last, for decades, it's a perfect choice,
It's a perfect choice. I agree.
Yeah.
The other thing I've seen people do with Romney, and I am thinking about maybe doing, is they spin it. The people who have you may have to have more equipment, but they spin it a little thick, and then they put it into those spiral rugs.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a friend who has the spiral weaver, and they make it into a spiral rug, and it would be great like that too. And there's a lot of different shades of colors, so you can make some really cool things like that with it as well. And it felts really nice as well. Romney's great felting fiber.
Yeah, it's a great workhorse wool, and I always, like, when I first started my business, I was buying a lot of Romney and Romney cross goods in Sonoma and Marin County. It's pretty common as a sheep breed. And to me, it just looks like the crinkle cut French fries.
Yeah.
That's what that's sort of the classic fleece look. And I just always love that. And a good Romney fleece with that crimp pattern is gorgeous. So
Yeah.
And it's just so versatile, like you said. And I agree. I think it would be great in rugs just because it would hold up.
And it has a really nice luster too. The Romneys really have that nice luster as well. It's a shiny fiber, so
yes,
gives things life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Phila was pointing out that at least 3 of the Sheep to Shawl teams this year used Romney. So
great.
And that's not surprising at all because it's such a great choice. And it again for shawl it would be great for that sort of luster and drape too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
absolutely
that's wonderful. So when do you lamb? If you shear in January, when do you lamb?
Like February.
Yeah. So
generally. So I like to shear before I lamb, especially with the Romney because they're such a heavy fleece load. Yeah. Well, for multiple purposes with my Romney because they've got a lot of fleece, so you get that off before you lamb. The lambs you can help if need to. The lambs can get to the udders when they need to. Romneys are great moms. And also because Romneys are such tough sheep, I find that if I shear them right before lambing and if it's dumping rain, they'll go in the barn. Where if they have any fiber on them, they'll stay out in the barn. They got a week old lamb. They don't think that lamb needs to go in the barn. But if they have almost no fiber on them, they'll take them in. And I don't have to go out there chasing everybody in because I'm worried about the lambs. So when the ewes have very little fiber, and in Sonoma County, for a sheep, we don't get cold in February. I mean, it's just nothing compared to what sheep are capable of taking up. But when it gets really rainy, they'll go in, and I want them to do that when I have brand new lambs. By the time those Romney lambs are 2 weeks, they can be out in the rain. But the first couple of weeks, they need to be coming in. So it helps the moms make the right decision because they feel the rain,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yes. It's just those little, I love hearing those little things because it's something that we don't necessarily, unless you work with sheep regularly, it's not something that you would necessarily know. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us. Yeah. So is there anything else that you'd like to share with the people who are joining us as attendees?
Well, the only thing I wanted to point out, it's up on my website, and I just wanted to highlight it because I feel like with COVID and so much craziness in the world right now, and so many of us feeling unsettled, we have fires, we have political chaos, we have social movement chaos. I mean, there's just a lot going on. So I have the my down to earth skincare package, which is a very grounding group of things, which if you're feeling a little chaotic, having a little spa care kit that's very grounding, it would really help right now. So it has all my soap have goat milk in them. So they're very soothing. They're very kind to all skin types. I have the cedar Naoli goat milk soap, which is this one. Yeah. My lighting might be off for that. And the Franken orange, which is a frankincense and sweet orange, which are both very grounding. And then we have the Franken myrrh face and body cream to go with it. So it's a little packet that you can take and have the soap and the cream to just help ground you. Put the cream on your feet, because as I've heard from so many people that what you put on your feet goes all the way through you. There's a test where you put garlic on your feet and put socks on it, and then like 10 minutes you taste garlic. I mean, that's how quickly things go through our body. So when you're thinking about skincare, you got to think that everything you put on your skin goes into your body. So this is stuff that you can feel good about for the planet, feel good about for your body, and maybe get some grounding and feel better after that caretaking. So that was the other thing I was thinking people might want, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Well, and I got some of your products, let's see, it was last year at the Wine Country Yarn Hop at Alicia's, behind Alicia's. And it just was, it's really, I got some of the cream and it was just really delicious. And you're right, I think that goat milk is really, it's so kind to your skin. And I really enjoyed it. So
good.
Recommend.
Yeah, usually even people with really sensitive skin it's really kind to their skin. My friend who has chronic eczema, she gets it kind of like in her soft spots, like in her elbows, inside here and here. She's like, this cream is the only thing that takes care of her eczema. She doesn't itch anymore. So it just kind of helps soothe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody just said it was really nice on her face.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I put it on my face like twice a day. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And So I agree. I totally agree. I have really sensitive skin too. So, and I found it really just worked a delight. Excuse me. We're getting towards the end here, and so now I'm starting to lose my words. So you'll have to forgive me, but I'm like,
sure it's been a very
a
busy
bit.
weekend for you.
Yeah, a lot of talking, and I'm not used. I mean, like normally I go to shows, and so I'm on all the time, or I'm on at least like maybe once a month or twice every other month, and I've been home talking to my son and my pets mostly. So like this is the most I've talked to other people, other adults in 6 months, 7 months.
Right.
So yeah,
it is.
I'm gonna have to like not talk
time,
for
that's
24
for
hours,
sure.
right? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate everything that you do. It's really incredible, the whole sort of matrix of things that you're doing in your community. So it's really lovely to hear, and I thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you for managing this whole new virtual event. It's pretty impressive.
Thank you. Yes.
Somebody said much. I do sell some wool by the. I definitely sell Romney by the pound because I have loads of it. The fine fiber generally, because they're kind of smaller fleeces, usually just go by the fleece.
Yeah,
but definitely Romney, and I'll put that up on my site. And I have white. I have spectrums of kind of dark gray, light gray to white in Romney.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Really
thank you
appreciate
all.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, have a great Sunday.
Thank you.
Bye.